Hi everyone. Stream tonight obviously about Neil Young and Charles Manson and how they met each other and what it says basically in Neil Young's biography about his friendship with Charles Manson. And he confirms that he did give him a motorbike as well. So that sort of confirms where the motorbike came from. Because I've also heard it said they think the Beach Boys paid him with a motorbike, but no, it was actually Neil Young who gave him the motorbike. And so I'll get to that soon. And there's also a clip of Neil Young talking about Charles Manson that we can watch later. And a bit of the song that he wrote about him is played in this clip because he wrote a song about Charles Manson as well, Revolution Blues. So yeah, I'll get to read now what it says in the biography in a bit. I'll just say hello to everyone though, as it's a live stream. Yep. Remember to like the video and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. So I'm nearly at 1,000 subscribers now. And there'll be chapters in the description if you want to skip over the discussion now, but I'll just greet everyone. So it's a live stream, obviously. It's for the benefit of people watching on playback. I always do an intro there. Yeah. Who's there tonight? 17 people so far. Huh? Clifford and James. Bernard's here as well. Yeah. Yeah. It was saying, that you were listening to the music, saying you play it. James, is that what you were saying you were trying to do on the guitar? That music, I think that's another Doug organ song. Yeah, that I found out on Free Music. It is good. Hello, Mark. Yeah, it's an interesting one because Neil Young's one of the only people that's commented about Charles Manson and will admit that he knew him and all that. And like I say, he does actually talk about him in his biography, so might as well read that out, hadn't I? Right, yeah, I'll get on with reading it out. Just give us something to talk about. There you go. In addition to all the other Topanga crazies Young was meeting, at some point in 1968 he encountered Charles Manson a few times. Curiously, Young and Manson share a November 12th birth date. The two were introduced by Dennis Wilson, a friend of Young since the Beach Boys tours. Manson lusted after a recording career. Helter Skelter was months away. The meeting of the minds has provided much fodder for interviews, with Young telling journalist Nick Kent that Manson was great, he was unreal. I mean, if he had a band like Dylan had on Subterranean Homesick Blues. Young wrote a wild number inspired by Manson in 1974, Revolution Blues. Manson returned the favour, telling a 1995 interviewer from his Vacaville, California prison cell that his music celebrity friends from the old days didn't give me shit, except for Neil Young, who bequeathed him a motorcycle. Charlie remembers me to her. Everybody else ripped him off. I gave him a motorcycle. I turned out to be a good guy. We just hung out. We played some. He played some songs for me, sitting in Will Rogers' old house on Sunset Boulevard. Dennis had the house had the house there, and I visited Dennis a couple of times. Charlie was always there. I think I met him maybe 2-3 times. Spent the afternoon with him. Dennis and all those girls. Linda Kasabian, Squeaky From. The girls, they only paid attention to Charlie. Dennis and I felt like we weren't there, okay? Now, that may not seem that unusual, but it is, because both Dennis and I were known. These girls couldn't see us. He seemed a little uptight, a little too intense, a frustrated artist. Spent a lot of time in jail. Frustrated songwriter, singer. Made up songs as he went along. New stuff all the time. No two songs were the same. I remember playing a little guitar while he was making up songs. Strong will, that guy. I told Mo Austin about him, Warner Brothers. This guy is unbelievable. He makes the songs up as he goes along. They're all good. Never got any further than that. Never got a demo. Glad he didn't get around to me when he was punishing people for the fact he didn't make it in the music biz. That's what that was all about. Didn't get to be a rock and roll star. He started fucking wiping people out. Dig that. What would have happened if he got signed? Well, he probably would have gotten pissed off with them. He was an angry man, but brilliant. Wrong, but stone brilliant. He sounds like Dylan when he talks. He's like one of the main movers and shakers of time. When you look back at Jesus and all those people, Charlie was like that, but he was kind of skewed. You can tell by reading his words. He's real smart. He's very deceptive, though. Tricky. Confuses you. Crosby was scared to death of doing Revolution Blues. He didn't think it was safe to do it. didn't want people to get the message, about rock and roll stars doing worse than lepers, being worse than lepers. Didn't want that vibe out there. Are some people just evil? Some people's lives are evil. I think people are receptacles. Evil and good are out there. We either pick up one or the other. I can't see a little kid being evil. You believe in the death penalty? Yes, an eye for an eye. It makes absolute sense. I mean, if somebody does something like that, okay, they're crazy. That's a reason why it's okay. We're going to spend the rest of our lives trying to change them, and they've already committed this heinous crime, taking away somebody's life. Those people don't really deserve an investment. I make the call for the death penalty, because it's cheaper. Too many little kids out there need that money. And that's from his biography, Shakey. Right. And, the talking points I said, he said it was months before the murders that he met him. But he mentions Linda Kasabian being with them, who was supposed to have only shown up a month before the murders. So has he got the names mixed up, and was it really a different girl? Or was she really hanging around with them earlier than we're told? That's another weird point. The fact he mentions Linda Kasabian's name. And he says he did give him a motorbike. He confirmed he gave him a motorbike. So he must have known him quite well. He didn't just meet him once. If he was moved enough by him to give him something like that, Like the journalist who interviewed him in this. Yeah, because I found a big book of all his interviews with the Rolling Stones, but yeah, he doesn't mention the Rolling Stone magazine, but he doesn't mention Charles Manson in it. Yeah. Yeah. I have a theory that Neil picked up his acoustic side of his music career from Manson. I don't know. I think everyone was going that way at the time, weren't they? It was folk rock, so yeah, I don't know about that. But have you seen there's articles where they show how Jim Morrison's appearance changed and he started to look like Charles Manson? And people are saying, and there's like rumours that he did know him as well. He met Charles Manson. He met the Doors. Charles Manson turned up at a Doors rehearsal or something. I'm sure another one of the Doors confirmed that. I'll have to find that. Yeah, many people turned their backs on Manson and how plugged in he was. Sorry. Wrong one. Oh, you saw him live once. And he said, hey, and thanks for coming. Didn't say anything else during the song. Yeah. Yeah, my dad listens to Neil Young. Well, not anymore. But yeah, I did. He doesn't say he gave him a guitar. No, he says he gave him a motorbike. Or he confirms that he did give him the motorbike, yeah. No, well, he didn't say it in this interview that was in Shakey, did he? And there is a clip, like I say, of Neil Young. You can play that in a bit. Yeah, in fact, should we watch the clip now? Get out of the way. And you hear a bit of the song as well. The audio is quite quiet.
I played it for Crosby, and he said, don't sing about that. That's not funny.
This is Revolution Day.
Spook people. It's spooky times. I knew Charlie Manson, so it spooked the hell out of me. That's relative. He wasn't what you call a songwriter. He was like a song spewer. But he got turned down.
No, I don't think you have to be on screen. Just occasionally saying something.
Turned down by reprise, and I remember I told him in Austin, I said, this guy, he's good. It's just a little out of control. But when he got turned down, it pissed me off. Take rejection. It was the ugly side of the Maharishi. There's this one side, like white robes and something that looks a lot like it, but just isn't it at all.
Yeah, so it's hard to talk over it, because if you talk till you can't bloody hear him, it's very quiet. But yeah, he pretty much backed up the same thing he said in his interview in the biography, didn't he? But it's spoopy as well, didn't he? Spoopy times. He says, yeah, Dave Crosby didn't want to do Revolution Blues. Didn't want to perform it. Because he didn't want everyone knowing rock stars were like lepers. Which is what he actually says, which is weird. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. One of the bands I used to be in wanted to do a couple of Neil Young covers, and you said no, yeah. Neil Young had a basement with a huge train set for his disabled son, did he? Wow. Yeah. George Harrison and Eric Clapton watched Young playing from the wings and said to each other, what the fuck's he doing with that guitar? It's awful. Yeah. Yeah. So basically, yeah. The weird thing is that he mentions Linda Kasabian. I wonder if he got the wrong girl or if she was with them, because the shooting of Bernard Crowe happens just before Linda arrives, doesn't it? And that is when Hollywood all starts slamming their doors on Charlie. So it must be before that. So this is how was Linda Kasabian there? And we found that she was at Harold True's house. She met them at Harold True's house, so she did meet them before. You know, she's supposed to have met them. Because we're told she met Gypsy, and Gypsy brought her back, weren't it? But she did actually meet them before, maybe, then. Because could she have been around Dennis Wilson's for any other reason? Hmm. Manson was disco. Tex and the Sexodettes. Sexy Sadie. You make me feel like Manson. Gonna stab the night away. Yeah. Yeah. We were talking about how Kasabian knew Harold True, so she knew them a lot longer than anyone wants to admit. Yeah. And like Neil Young says here, and this was months before the murders, is what it says, months before Helter Skelter. And she's supposed to have only met them 1 month before. Because I've thought for a long time that she knew Tex longer, because she seemed too familiar with Tex. Well, it was crazy times, it was the 60s and that, but she seemed to know Tex too well. I think that, yeah, they had met before. Yeah. Yeah, you think knew each other before the July the 4th fireworks, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, quite worrying how though, because Tex didn't actually spend all his time at the ranch. And he's admitted that at parole hearings, he's admitted he actually spent, out of all of his time in California, which was over a year, wasn't it? Or 2 years, he said he only spent about 6 months of it with Charles Manson. So what was he doing the rest of the time? Who was he with? And this Rosina, he seems to have lived with Rosina for quite a while. So who else did he meet through that? I wonder if Linda knew Rosina. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't know why either. Yeah. Maybe it was because they were trying to cover up the drug involvement, weren't they? They didn't want it to be known about all her previous drug convictions and shit like that before, because that wasn't heard at the time, was it? And that. And also Harold True as well. They wouldn't have wanted that coming up, because that makes the LaBiancas look less random, doesn't it? Because they were trying to frame it as if the LaBiancas were just randomly chosen, weren't they? So it seems that they knew the LaBiancas because they stayed at the house next door. They parked their bus on the drive or something, didn't they? Yeah. And there's many theories about Tex knowing the boyfriend of the daughter of Rosemary LaBianca, isn't there? And them planning something together. But, we can never ever know that. Oh, what? Wait a second. Must have been before the end of summer of 68, as that's when Wilson gave up his Will Rogers house, right? So it wasn't even the same. So it's not months before. It was a year before the murders that he hung around with them then. And he says Linda Kasabian was with them. So that's crazy, isn't it? That makes me think more he got the girl's name wrong then, and it was another girl. I didn't see that. Yeah, I didn't know that was on. I would have watched that. Manson Speaks Inside the Mind of a Madman. No, I didn't see it. Had Harold True's cousin on it, among others. If it's on Channel 4, it might be hard to find it on YouTube because Channel 4 gets funny about it, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah, that's it, Sam Smith. Yeah, it's got to be something more serious that threatens the narrative in a big way, maybe. Even more than that, but no, but the drug thing at the time threatened the narrative, didn't it? Because they wanted to make out that it was all just, they were all doing it purely because Charles Manson told them to. And also Bobby as well. But was she involved with Bobby? I don't think she was. Was she? Maybe, though. Maybe she met Bobby and Gypsy before. Like, way before. Yeah. You think Linda Kay knew Little Paul first? Her husband was living with Blackbeard before they all moved to Spahn, I believe. Right. Yeah, well, yeah, because I wanted to do another stream just summarising it more simply, because it is all in what I read out from the Manson file. But her drug past and that before the trial, and all the stuff that was happened later. They weren't allowed to say who she was, so that when she went to court for other stuff, they didn't know that she was Linda Kasabian. She had a different name, and it wasn't heard who she was. Yeah. So she could have been at Wilson's around the same time True had visited Wilson's when Manson was there. He admitted to this in his police interview. Yeah, possibly. This is the thing, yeah. But if that's interesting, if you can show when Dennis Wilson got rid of the house that he said he met them at, then that shows, it was a whole year before. Because I bet Neil Young was doing a lot of drugs if he hung around with David Crosby. Because David Crosby was a drug bucket by the sound of things. My God. And Dennis Wilson. They all were. Must have been pretty out of it. Yeah, so it was a whole year before then that he's talking about. Well, the Channel 4 documentary is an old one, is it? Sorry, I won't put it on the thing. Yeah, I just found a lawsuit filed by Linda Kasabian's daughter, Tonya, which is the one that she was pregnant with at the time that she was hanging around with the family. And she was suing a book publisher because they wrongly published that it was her that got busted for meth when it wasn't. It was her other daughter, who's called Zenu or something crazy like that. But yeah, and she was basically trying to sue, because he got the two daughters mixed up. It wasn't Tonya, it was the other daughter, one of her daughters, though, yeah. Yeah. Lady Dangerous, yeah. And in the book, it says that it's Tonya that's Lady Dangerous, but she later sued the publisher because it's not her, it's the other one, Zenu, that got done for drugs. Yeah. I wonder if the actor Saladin Nader was the father of Linda Kay's baby. No, I think it's pretty. It can be worked out that it was actually her husband, the same father as her first, as the baby that she already had. It was her husband. She was already pregnant, so that's even sicker because she was pregnant when they were killing Sharon Tate. At the same time, she was also pregnant. So she didn't get pregnant by anyone from the family. She was already pregnant before she arrived, basically. Sorry, the chat's going very fast. What was that? Neil Young's wife at the time, worked in the same place as one of the guys Linda lived with in the truck with her husband. Yeah, possibly, because, they had... she had 4 kids in the end, did she? Yeah, because she had one baby already, didn't she? Who's Tanya, and then the other one. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's spelled with a Z, I think. Yeah, Zenu. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. I might be getting it slightly wrong. I know it's some kind of wacky sounding name, though. It's not, a normal name. Yeah. Yeah, and she'd been done before for selling LSD and speed or something like that, and her boyfriend. And she had her first husband divorced her on grounds that she was dangerous to his mental health as well. All that sort of thing. Hmm. Yeah, Moon Unit. That's Frank Zappa's son, isn't it? Daughter, sorry. Dweezil is the strange named son. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the police were desperate to put the case to bed, and the DA considered Susan a state witness, but they couldn't work with her. She wouldn't bloody cooperate with them, basically. So that's one of the main reasons I read out all that stuff from the penalty phase, because she talks about that as well. She talks about everything they offered her. That's it, Quanu. Sorry, I've got it slightly wrong. Quanu, that's the name. Yeah, if I can explain it. Sort of sounds like Quaalude, doesn't it? Quanu, but it also sounds really science fiction-y, doesn't it? Quanu, that's the name. That's the one that's called Lady Dangerous, and yeah, because the daughter Tonya sued because he got her name wrong. But the book is on archive.org, and it does look really good. It's all about Sharon Tate, I think, Sharon Tate's life. But it looks like it might have some interesting stuff in it, and it's worth reading. But bear in mind, you might slightly get people's names off because you got the wrong daughter. Yeah, that's it. The Kasabian clan were a meth-fueled shit show. Yeah. Well, Xanadu is a better name than friggin' Zanu. Imagine paying all that money to Scientology to find out the big secret is Zanu. Yeah, not Zanu. Yeah, no, it's the other one. What is it? Quanu. Oh, Quano. Is it? Yeah, Quanu. That's it. Quanu. Quanu is the name. Yeah, that's the name that's in the document. Because yeah, like I said, I think I shared it in my Facebook group. If you're not in the Facebook group and you use Facebook, it's just search True Crime and Moonshine. Because not everything I do is about Charles Manson, so I don't always advertise all my streams in every group if it's not that Manson related. So yeah, because I stream about other stuff that is relevant, especially if you're interested in the MK Ultra side of it and the LSD experimentation and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, so like be sure to join my Facebook group so you see those. And also I leave all my streams up in the Facebook group, and the after shows are always left up in the Facebook group. Unless there's a guest on and they want me to take it down for whatever reason. Quintana Roo is a state in Mexico. Yeah, if you Google Quanu and Kasabian, you get several hits. I was doing it the other day, yeah, because I was looking for information. But yeah, the book that's mentioned in the lawsuit is on archive.org. It's on my long list of books to read. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I saw Dweezil Zappa. Oh, sorry. Dweezil Zappa is an amazing guitar player. Yeah, he plays just like his dad, doesn't he? So, sorry, my cat's moving. Is he going to look at the mic? No, he hasn't. Don't know. There you go. I saw him a few years ago when he played in Southampton. Me and my dad went to see him. He is good. Yeah. Yeah. Joan Huntington. Linda. It was Linda's choice. She picked the Tate House. Linda suggested the Tate House, Merrick, because she was there before. So Linda had been there before. Yeah, and there's all that as well that I read out that I couldn't believe Susan actually said about. Yeah, Linda said to her about that, because she was saying about, she knew what she'd done to Bobby. She'd overheard her saying what had happened with Bobby. The Hinman thing, basically. And she was trying to take full responsibility for it, wasn't she? When it does sound like, yeah, she wasn't really responsible. She was just trying to exonerate Bobby. But that's the other thing as well. A part of their motive for actually doing the crimes that they did, they were trying to save Bobby. And Leslie as well was more involved with Bobby. She was involved with Bobby before she was involved with Manson. So it was equally about Bobby as well. And she's never really had to answer to that, does she? They didn't ask her about that at parole hearings. They concentrate on the Manson stuff, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Good has said it as well. Yeah, Sandra Good said it, and Pittman. They all say it. But people all say, oh, they were just trying to exonerate Manson. That was just a lie they told to try and exonerate Manson. But no, I don't think it fucking was. Because especially the fact that there's so much stuff about the MDA in the police report as well. Yeah. Linda suggested the Tate House and also caused Manson to go to Waverley, apparently. See, I've never heard how she could have caused that. And I can believe that she talked big until she saw actual murders happening, and then she did start to freak out, because she did run off not long after as well, didn't she? And she wasn't so involved with the LaBianca. She just drove, didn't she? And then drove off. Yeah. Yeah. You always bring up Mandrax. Yeah. Because Keith Richards had a dog named Mandrax back in the late 60s. Yeah. They would have loved Mandrax. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. She still mutilated the corpse. And is there any truth to the fact, did she start stabbing her before she died? You know, she was trying to get away or whatever. And she claimed to be the first to wrestle her and fight with her and tie her up and all that sort of thing, doesn't she, as well? But was she entirely lying? Was she really just freaking out as it all happened and texted it all? Who knows? But Rosemary LaBianca did have brown hair in her hand, apparently. And so it could have been either of the girls, though, couldn't it? Could have been Krenwinkel. Long brown hair as well, so can't have been texted. So, yeah, she was definitely fighting with one of the girls. That's at one point, at least. Could have just been Krenwinkel. But she talked the big talk, didn't she, in court? That penalty phase, definitely. Yeah. 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 Well, if Quanu and Zizo's hooked up, what would their kids' names be? Yeah. Yeah, Bobby was in jail and Mike Rat, and they still owed money to the bikers. That's it. Big motivation to go and hunt for money or drugs. Because that's the other thing. The girl's motive wasn't just freeing Bobby, you know, for the sake of freeing Bobby. It was Susan wanted it because she was involved, and she was worried that what he would say. And also Manson was involved in the Hinman thing as well, wasn't he? So they were all worried about what he would say about that. And Susan wanted to get Bobby a good lawyer for some reason. Don't know how she thought that would fucking help him in the situation he was in, because they found him with the murder weapon in the stolen car of the guy they'd murdered, didn't they? So, like, don't think anyone could have got him off, could they? Really? Was the drug burn for MDA? Did Rosemary burn them too? Maybe they were going to get revenge on everyone at once and make it look like a serial killer. Or the Panthers, yeah. Well, this is it. Because it's impossible to prove, isn't it, anything about Rosemary? But there's rumor, isn't there? It said in someone's book somewhere that she was fencing LSD for people. Possibly, but would that have involved the Manson family? Who knows? Or how they met? It's more likely they met Leno, isn't it? That they knew Leno. And I always thought it was more likely to be some kind of insurance scam, because I think that that's why the LaBiancas let them in. I think they were just supposed to tie them up and burgle them, but they spun it on them and started murdering them, basically. I think that's why the dogs didn't bark and there was no screams or anything like that. You know, no one heard anything, because they initially let them in. Because other people have pointed out, it's weird all their valuables are just lined up in the living room as well, isn't it? Like the coin collection and everything that was valuable was all just there in the living room. So it's like they were supposed to just tie them up, take all that, and the kids were supposed to come home in the morning and find them. But they then turned around and murdered them. That was always my theory on what happened there. But also, what motive did Charlie have as well? Because we hear that Charlie had one confrontation with Leno, but was there more to it than that? Who knows? Yeah. Yes, I've heard this as well. Yeah. Leno's first wife said Rosemary and her daughter were selling LSD. And I've heard it's also said that she was in a dispute with her daughter as well. And then in the 80s, you get her daughter making that crazy speech to try and get Tex freed, which is just insane, isn't it? You know, it's like, what? So that she forgives him. Yeah. Sid. What do you mean, Sid Barrett? Put Mandrax in his hair. Yeah. Yeah. It was incredibly stupid for them not to take the stuff that LaBiancas had laid out. Well, they didn't have a vehicle, didn't they? That's the other thing that confuses me about that. The fact that Charlie just left them and didn't arrange anyone to come and pick them up. Just made them fucking get back to the ranch on their own. Because, like, if they'd had a vehicle, they could have loaded stuff into it, couldn't they? And I've also, I think it's Barbara Hoyt, says in her book that she saw that her Leslie counting a lot of coins, apparently. So they did take more than is let on. Apparently, she had coins, and they took a number of dresses, and Leslie was seen burning the dresses. Apparently, yeah. What? Really? You took a dose of magic mushrooms 15 minutes ago? You like having a buzz during podcast? Wow. No, a good one. Yeah, follow the drugs. The drugs are everywhere. In this case, that's the thing. It all goes back to drugs somehow. This is why I'm so convinced that it's all drugs. Yeah, where does she say that? Yeah, because I found an interview with her, and she never says that in that, does she? She just says Rosemary was a really good mother to the kids, and she raised, she was good about kids that weren't hers, looking after kids that weren't hers and all that. And she liked her. She said she liked her. And I didn't want to buy the book because the book is really rare and expensive, and it's also published by an entertainment company. And she kind of admits it's a novel. So how much of it's actually true? Is she just making shit up, to make it sound more interesting? So, yeah. It was when they asked about Leno's Black Book. Yeah. It is possible because you have to remember as well, LSD was bottles of liquid, wasn't it? She wouldn't have had to be selling it on the street, like, to people. Maybe her daughter was doing that bit or whatever. And she was just using, hiding the drugs for them or whatever. Or they were laundering money through her business. Maybe she wasn't doing much of the actual hands-on LSD dealing, but they were laundering money through her business or whatever. Yeah. It could be any number of things, couldn't it? Isn't it? Now, the FBI report only talks about Sharon Tate, the Tate murders. It doesn't link the LaBiancas. There's nothing about the LaBiancas in the FBI report. And the LaBianca homicide report, I didn't. No, there's definitely nothing about them drug dealing in the homicide report because I read through all that to do the streams that I did. There's stuff about Leno gambling, and there's dodgy stuff about Rosemary LaBianca. She ran off with all the stuff. Emptied the flat when she left her husband, a bloke that she. And I don't think they were even married, yeah. But she took all his stuff. And all stuff like that, but yeah, nothing like drug dealing is actually said in the police report. And there's lots of suggestion that she might have been having lesbian affairs as well. And there's a woman named who she might have been having an affair with. Yeah. Charlie threw orgies where only the family participated and Hollywood executives paid to watch. I don't know. I've never read that anyway. I've seen that. Harold True moved out of the house in September of '68. Yeah, because it's you get what's the name? Yeah, Alice. It's Alice LaBianca, isn't it? The previous wife of Leno. There is an interview with her that you can find on YouTube, saying that Charlie had the fight with Leno. So that must have happened in '68 then, if he had moved out. But no, I thought he lived there longer than that. He lived longer after that. That Waverley Drive. But it did say, I've read that it got pretty wild around there. And Leno was complaining in letters to his family about, the wild parties, the pot parties going on. And they were saying they didn't feel safe. And they had been burgled a few times. Yeah. There you go. Alice LaBianca says that a cop told her that as well in the interview. That, Charlie and Leno had a confrontation. Thanks for coming, everyone. Like I say, join the Facebook group if you haven't, because you'll see my other streams, because I'm doing a lot of stuff about LSD research. The book I'm reading is really good, the UK LSD book, this one, because it confirms, all the stuff that was happening in the US. Albion Dreaming, A Popular History of LSD in Britain. Like all the doctors using it for LSD therapy and that, they were using it in this country as well at the same time as it was going on in America. And there's more about the Porton Down experiments where the guys were told it was for the common cold. They were trying to find a cure for the common cold and they just gave them acid. It goes into that more. And apparently they let them just stagger out the base, and they went out for the night after they'd given the acid. Like, once I've read it all, I'll be streaming about this sort of stuff. And we'll talk about Michael Hollingshead, who's the English dude who actually gave Timothy Leary LSD for the first time, because he's a strange character, obviously, and all that sort of thing. Yeah, I've heard about that. Yeah, because her driving license as well says Woking Way, doesn't it? Because if you look at the contents of her purse, I'm sure her driving license still says Woking Way. So I was struck by the word Woking, because that's the town I was like sort of born in, and we lived in just after I was born around that area. Yeah, what did Harold True do? Because on the same thing with an interview, there's an interview with Alice LaBianca's. With Alice LaBianca, they briefly talk to Harold True, and he just looks scared as hell, and he doesn't want to talk. And he says something weird. He says something like, "Oh, Charlie went back to places where people told him no." Was what Harold True actually said, which is just fucking weird. And he just looked like he didn't want to say anything, basically, and he never admitted that they knew each other. So yeah, that's interesting. If Harold True wasn't even there after '68, so this is quite a while back. So that's 68. Because what Neil Young said. So that means Linda Kasabian must have met them fucking in '68, way before we're told that she met them. So why would they want to cover that up so much though? That's the other weird thing. Because Sam was saying that. Why? There must be something bigger than just her drug connections, maybe. I mean, it could have been just because it threw the narrative too much, away from it just being a plot by a crazy, spurned musician. If they mentioned the drugs or whatever, yeah. Yeah, that's it. Why did they cover up so much? Yeah. This is it, because I think that it got really dark. I think that there was a lot of really nasty stuff basically happening around these places. Not just Cielo Drive, all through Hollywood. Because you see, nowadays, like my generation, we've heard all about Hollywood and that, people know about it. But there's a generation of people who still probably don't fucking believe that it's really that bad in Hollywood. But see, I can totally believe how crazy it got, especially with all the drug taking and all the people thinking that there was a new way of life and that we should just drop all taboos and just do whatever we want and all that sort of stuff. Like, it could have got really, really sick. And I think it just really sobered everyone up when this happened. And people realised that there was videos of them and that, tapes, reel-to-reel cassettes of them, like, and all that. And sort of everyone. That's it, because that's it. I think it's darker than just the drugs, definitely. That is what they're covering up, Yeah, Jack the Ripper. Yeah, I've read quite a lot about Jack the Ripper, obviously, and being a British one. There's a good book. I'll find it and I'll recommend it. Yeah, I'll recommend you the best book. There's a guy who did loads of the Jack the Ripper tours in London, and it's meant to be the best book. Yeah. Well, it is still that bad, isn't it? I mean, it's hard. They must have to make it much more underground now because more people are aware, aren't they? But when you're in these isolated places up in the Hollywood Hills, who knows what's going on, Yeah. Thing both the prosecution and defense seemed to cooperate on what was being covered up. That's the weird thing. Yeah, that's it. Everyone must have cooperated. So, Yeah. So many powerful people were partying and using drugs and sex and couldn't ruin their public images. Yeah, because everyone was more conservative, wasn't it, at the time? Like, weren't they at the time? People, or they were scared that people wouldn't, radio stations wouldn't play their songs or whatever, the musicians and that sort of thing. Like the Mamas and Papas, they were like a pop band, weren't they? They were marketed almost at children, weren't they? Young kids. So all this stuff coming out about them wouldn't have been good for them, would it? And the Beach Boys as well. It would have wrecked the Beach Boys' reputation, knowing how close Dennis Wilson was to Manson and all that. Yeah. I've always thought out of all of the parents, Folger is the richest one, isn't he? And like how deeply involved in the really dark stuff was Abigail Folger, and he didn't want that to come out. So did he pay for it? because it involved people like Abigail. And Sharon Tate's dad is supposed to be the one that discovered the pornography, and he got a private detective to find it. And he also went in undercover himself, even dressed as a hippie, and went in to find out what the fuck happened, didn't he? Because he gave J. Sebring money. So he probably wanted to know what happened to his money. It was he'd invested money. He was meant to get money back from him. I think that might be why Sharon was still sticking around Jay so much as well, because she wanted to see what he had done with her dad's money, basically. Yeah. Sorry, just going to chat again for a second. Sharon Tate stole back his money from J. Sebring. It's like, well, he had no money, didn't he? Apparently, he was in debt, weren't he? He was really fucked for money, literally. Yeah. Yeah, California was far more conservative back then, and they were trying to hide it, weren't they? You know, because people weren't ready yet to hear what had happened. And people still aren't, like I say, and people don't want to hear it as well. People don't want to believe that all these Hollywood stars were not who they thought they were. And a lot of people that got into the music industry and that were just in it to get laid. You know, they didn't even really care about music. That sort of shit, you know. That's what it was all about. Yeah. I'll have one as well. Have a consolatory toke for you, Mark Oliver. Yeah, I've had this going quite a while now. Anyway, can edit out the silences and that. But yeah, that's interesting. So yeah, that's two things that put them back to 1968 and meeting Linda Kasabian. If they met Linda Kasabian around Harold True's, if Harold True left in 68, then that all must have been like way before the murders. Obviously. And Dennis Wilson not having that house beyond 68 as well. Shows, yeah. Yeah, that's it. They learned how to play the guitar in order to get chicks. And all those tight trousers. It was the CIA in order to incapacitate women. They made them fucking learn to play the guitar and wear tight trousers. Well, they didn't even have to learn to play the fucking guitar, did they? They just had the Wrecking Crew. Like, look at the Monkees. They couldn't play at first. In the end, they got embarrassed, didn't they? And they did actually learn to play. Mm-hmm. Mm. Well, that's the point. Yeah, about a video. I've shared it in my Facebook group. It's on YouTube. But there's a fucking video of the guest house at Cielo Drive. I think it's Trent Reznor, when Trent Reznor was renting it, when he recorded his album. He recorded an album there, didn't he? And he had the guest house set up, but he actually films around the inside of the guest house and he goes out into the yard. But frustratingly, he concentrates on showing you the view of the whole of Hollywood, like LA. He doesn't turn the other way and show you where the trails would have been. It's really annoying. It's not in there, but yeah, there's a bit where it would be off to the right. Yeah. Learn the guitar to get chicks didn't work. Should have started a cult instead. Learn to play the guitar and start a cult. Worked for Manson. They weren't the right sort of chicks though. In the end, got him in trouble. It was a communist plot to destabilize American youth. Maybe. What? Tight trousers and electric guitars. At the time of governments. Sending young kids to die. Music was a revolution and the young people were standing up. The Doors wrote a song 5-1. Revolution was in the air. Yeah, and the Rolling Stones were going on about revolution all the time, weren't they? Because I think about it now. Like, no one is writing revolutionary music or, music that is trying to encourage social upheaval or change at all, are they? Everything is just so neutral now. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. A very clear version, yeah. And there's a bit where they're filming him. I think it is actually him talking. But there's a guy sitting there reading out the his horoscope, and weirdly the camera glitches out as he's. And you can tell it's back in the 90s when they were just using one of the shitty old camcorders. So he could have done it with editing, but that would be pretty fucking extreme. I think that it was just the camera glitching out. Something spooky happened basically when he's reading out a weird horoscope. The camera glitches out, and he's sat in the guest house. Yeah, it must have been him. Yeah, so someone goes out, they pan all around the guest house, and they show the security system now. There's a monitor up in the guest house showing you the car park bit, and that. So there's the security cameras now. I was looking up at it and thinking, fucking, I wish they'd had that in 1969. That would answer a lot of questions, wouldn't it? A security monitor on the car park. Footage of the west backside of the main house. It appears in the Jiggly version. Yeah, because on the same channel that the guest house version one is on, there is another video of the rest of the house, and it's shot in the 90s, so before they knocked down the old house. Yeah. When the band were getting together, Robbie Robertson told one, "You won't earn much, but you have more pussy than Frank Sinatra." Yeah. Tight trousers make your sperm dead. Yeah, that's it. So reduce the birth rate. There wasn't another baby boom because they're all sterile from the tight jeans. Yeah, well, this is it. There are constantly social experiments. They're getting fucking crazy now, though, the social experiments, what they're doing. It's just like, you worry, don't you? Because the children now are going to be the ones responsible for caring for you when you're old and infirm. Makes you think, doesn't it? Oh, shit, these have got to run the world when we're too old and infirm to do anything. We've just got to sit back and watch. And they fucked them all right up with TikTok and all this bollocks. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Several generations of crappy videotape. Yeah, was it like off a really bad VHS of it? This is like closer to the original tape. What's the channel called? I'll look it up. No, that's the video. Kate Van Buren. Can you see that on the screen? That's the name of the channel. You look that up, and on that there is the better footage of the house as well. But yeah, I'd like to see the patio doors and crime scene photos from the other side of the house as well, because we've only seen one side of it, haven't we? Yeah. Right. But yeah, it's a really good video of the guest house. Yeah, that's it. TikTok is a Chinese mind control experiment to ruin Western youth minds, and it's working. Yeah, all kids want to be now is a social media influencer, innit? That's it. They're all just doing nothing. Jagger has how many kids? Yeah, I don't know even. Yeah, how many fucking kids he's got. And he's probably got the unofficial ones as well, hasn't he? The ones that of groupies he knocked up. That he denies are his. Because he don't want to have to pay for them. Yeah. You have to make him a downward spiral book with a bunch of stuff about Cielo Drive in it, yeah. Yeah, like I say, that one about Sharon Tate I would like to read. Because, yeah, that's the one that Linda Kasabian's daughter tried to sue about. Because they get her name wrong. They say it's her when it's not her, it's her sister. Quanu. Or Quanu, would you say? I think you would probably say Quanu with an American accent, wouldn't you? I don't know. Yeah, it would be Quanu, wouldn't it? I think with an American accent. Yeah, Alan Cross, that one. But it talks a lot about just Sharon Tate's background and that, so it'd be interesting to see what she talks about. Or what it talks about, you know. Does it talk about, the Mamas and the Papas and Michelle Phillips and all that sort of stuff? Who knows? Yeah. Yeah, they say Quaaludes, don't they? That's what it sounds like. Yeah. Yeah, I reckon it's probably Quanu, not Quanu. Well, with an English accent. Yeah. Vic Reeves would call her Iranu. They probably don't bloody show them, do they? In America, I don't think the Americans would get Reeves and Mortimer at all. It would just confuse them, wouldn't it? Yeah. Ludes, yeah, that's Quaaludes, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, Marvel. Oh, do you want one of his tours? Did you have anything? You went on Scott Michael's Dearly Departed tour. It was awesome, and so was Scott. Gave you a pretty good piece of the fireplace from the Tate House. Wow. Yeah. Oh, wow. You've heard from people there was footage of a 16mm shot by Roman himself of Sharon doing a room-by-room walkthrough of the Cielo house when they first moved in. Was on the net. Can't find it now. Yeah, I've never seen that. There's Courtney here. Courtney might know about that because she obviously knows a lot about Sharon Tate. Yeah. Yeah, I've never heard that there was footage of her at Cielo Drive. Other than the dodgy stuff. I assume that was filmed at Cielo Drive. Might be from London, though. Who knows? George E. Smith confirmed, and so did Courtney. Yeah, Courtney has heard of that, yeah. Yeah, I wonder if that might have been re-uploaded, though. It's worth to keep searching for it, just in case someone's re-uploaded it. Things get taken down and then come back. Yeah, well, this has been going for about an hour now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end this, and I'll come back and do an after show. Just give me 5 minutes. You need to make a cup of tea. Got a dry mouth. Thanks for coming, everyone. And like I say, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Make sure you've liked the stream. And if you're watching this on playback, leave a comment. It really helps. And my views, I've been posting in my Facebook group about this. My views tumble really badly after 3 days of my, making the live stream live again. Because YouTube wants you to upload 3 times a week, basically. And so it throttles your video after 3 days. So you have to upload a new one. And because I'm a small channel and it's just me on my own, I can only do 1 a week. So it really helps if you watch my videos. So thank you everyone who has, and thank you everyone who does. Excellent. And yeah, I'll end this one now, and I'll come back in about 5 minutes and do an after show, so just watch the notifications. And yeah, I'll be in the Facebook group as well. Yeah, and like I say, just search True Crime and Moonshine, and it's the same logo as the YouTube channel. You'll find it, and it is linked on the page on my YouTube channel. It links. If you click for more links, you can see my Buy Me a Coffee link as well. All donations gratefully received. I don't expect to make any money. It just helps to pay for everything. So I pay for StreamYard every month, and I pay for Canva now, and all the books I buy, and all the time I spend. Excellent. Yeah. Well, thanks everyone. And yeah, I'll end this now and just give me 5 minutes, and I'll come back once I've got a cup of tea. Right. See you in a bit. Bye.